Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of the Healing Unfiltered podcast. I'm a little giddy today, you guys, because this is an exciting episode. I teased it a little bit in the end of my last episode, but officially, I'd love to welcome to the podcast Miss Kristy Castillo, the host of the Unfuck Your
Hello.
Fitness podcast and also one of my dearest friends. When I decided to have guests, it was like a no-brainer to have you on as my first guest. So I don't know if a lot of people know, but Kristy is quite literally the reason I have this podcast because we
Interesting.
connected on Instagram. We've talked about this on the podcast we do together. And then when I was a guest on hers, but we connected on Instagram and she invited me to join her on her podcast to talk about really some of the stuff we're going to be talking about today from like a fitness lens, from mental health. And we just kind of hit it off. Like, I think we very quickly realized we are like the same person. And so
Yeah. Like instantly.
instantly we're like, oh, I like you. You're my friend
Yeah.
now. Like, you have no choice. But I'm so excited to have Kristy on because she approaches fitness from such a, I hate to say unique lens because it shouldn't be unique, but really when you look at the fitness world, I think that you approach fitness from a way that is, it makes fitness approachable, first of all. And it makes fitness feel real and it makes it really feel like whole health, like the wholeness of the human being. And you incorporate mental health and the just are you okay concept of fitness versus just eat your protein, do your workouts, and get enough sleep. Like you really look at the person as a whole. And so I'm so excited to have you on here to talk about really just why fitness feels so daunting was the topic that we kind of landed on to
Mhm.
kind of explore that and some of the barriers. And yeah, I'm really excited to dive in.
I'm excited too. It feels weird to be on your show.
I know this
I
is so
mean, you were
strange.
on mine, which was great. I'm pretty sure you
Right.
were my first guest.
Yeah.
It seems like
See, so
forever
it's so
ago.
full circle.
I know it's crazy. And we probably talked about, vice versa, some of the same things, but yeah, we're just
Yeah,
kindred sisters. And
we really are.
we record every week for our own podcast, but this is
Yeah,
like,
so this doesn't feel weird.
no, like talking
Before
to
we
you
jumped
doesn't
on, I
feel
was
weird at
like,
all.
you're right. I was like, why do I feel nervous? Like we literally do this every week for our own.
You're just starting it this time. This is yours. And I'm
Yes.
just gonna fall in line. So I'm excited.
Exactly. Yes, exactly. No, so I'm super excited. I think that, I'm super passionate about just wellness in general, like the whole mind, body, spirit aspect of it. And I've alluded to when I talk about mental health topics, just like the role that fitness, nutrition, moving your body plays. And so I think we can kind of just first dive in because what I hear so much from my clients is like I said, it feels so daunting. How do I even start? Like the emotional load of going on a fitness journey and even viewing it as that is daunting. And so I would love to hear from you. What do you see with your clients? You work with women particularly. Like, why is it so overwhelming for women from what you see?
Yeah. So to back up for a second, I started fitness, and I think a lot of people do. When I started, it was all physical. Like I went to the gym
Yeah.
and it was very, very physical. And then it was later on that I learned that the only way to sustain the physicality of it and, learning about food and like being consistent with it, the only way it was going to work was to incorporate it into my life, but then to also change my mindset around it. So it's interesting
Hmm.
because I think a lot of people come into it the opposite way of I'm really struggling, I'm really struggling, I'm really struggling. How do I get into my fitness journey and how do I do this? I was the opposite. I was already so consistent, so physical, going to the gym, changed my body, and but then I'm like, this isn't sustainable. So I kind of did it from an
Yeah.
opposite way, and I learned this emotional piece and the mental side of things along the way, but that was the only way that I thought this is going to be sustainable. And then I realized so many people are missing the two, which is what we connected on. And then, of course, I have my
Right.
podcast. But to answer your question, as far as it feeling overwhelming, the fitness feels overwhelming because we make it so much about ourselves. We carry so much
Mhm.
weight with it. We carry the guilt of why do I look this way? Why am I feeling stuck? My self worth is reliant on my fitness journey. My confidence is reliant on my fitness journey. So it's not just about food and it's not just about
Mhm.
workouts when we think it is when we get started, right? Like I want to work out and I want to count my macros, but really it's not that simple for so many women, which is who I coach, like you said. It's all comes back to their confidence, their self-worth, that guilt, how they're supposed to look. And that is why it feels overwhelming because we've tied so much emotion to.
Mhm. Yeah, that makes so much sense. And I think, like you said, we don't realize that. Like when you go
Yeah.
on a fitness journey, you're just like, either I want something to feel different for myself, I want to feel healthier, I want to look different. My doctor's telling me I need to for my health. And that's without examining anything that you've attached to it from
Mhm.
way, way back. I think there was one episode we talked about like the role of how for women, mothers talked about their body image,
Mhm.
right? And so if you go into your fitness journey as an adult and you don't even examine the fact, like, how did my mom look at her body? How did my mom talk about food, right? Or
Yeah.
my parents, it doesn't just have to be your mother, but like those caregivers, how did they influence me? If you're not even recognizing that, then there's so much you're
Yeah.
not even aware of at that
Yeah,
point.
it's truly so deep for it's impossible really to dive into just a fit especially now with it social media and the comparison game and you have, the 2 cents of everyone around you and then on top of, yeah, how you were raised and how did were you made to clean your plate and were you made to feel certain things were good or bad or you had to eat your dinner before you had a snack and if you didn't
Mhm.
finish your dinner, you couldn't, have a snack, you had to earn your food. How did your caregivers talk about their body? Did they use the word fat? Did they say you were
Right.
fat? Did they say our family's fat? I mean, there's so much into it that it's no wonder your self-worth, your confidence is all of that is tied up into it. But when you feel like now I'm going to start this fitness journey, I'm just going to start going to the gym and you can't get yourself to go to the gym, it's not because you can't go to the gym. It's not because you physically can't or you don't want it enough or you're not good enough. It's because of all that baggage that you're bringing with you.
Yeah. So that actually ties into my next question for you of when you see this, obviously those ingrained things make it hard to stick to something. What are the main things that you see for people that make it hard to like stick to the plan? Like why is sticking to it, making it consistent and sustainable so hard for people?
Yeah, there's a couple of different reasons why it's
Yeah.
seems so hard, and this was interesting for me because I came from the background of sticking to the plan, like, I just stuck to the plan no matter
Yeah,
what,
you
so when
just did it.
people yeah, when people started to say and what I did though was I pivoted all the time, and I didn't realize that's what I was doing at the time, but I thought, "Well, I don't even like this program, I'm not gonna do this Beachbody program anymore, I'm gonna do a different one." I would just change it. I didn't hold anything to it, it didn't attach it, I didn't attach my self-worth
Yeah.
to the fact that, like, "I don't like this, I'm not gonna do this. I don't like running anymore. I'm not gonna run anymore." So I was pivoting the whole time. I didn't realize it was so hard for other people, but it's not the plan. It's not, that you're sticking to the plan. Like it's not that it's even hard to do that part. It's the pressure that you put on yourself. It's the shame that you've brought with yourself,
Mm,
that all or nothing mindset. It's on
mhm.
Monday, I'm no longer going to do any of these habits that I was doing before. And now I'm going to do all of these other things. And you've put so much pressure, like starting Monday, I can never have this food again.
Yeah,
That's a
that's
lot of
so like,
pressure.
you wanna talk about
Yeah,
daunting. Like, think
that's
about that Sunday
crazy.
night, like, "Oh my god, I gotta eat everything that I can
Yes.
because tomorrow I'm not gonna be able to."
Right, and imagine then you don't do that, right? You or someone invites you out then because it never fails, you'll be invited to a dinner meeting with food there the day you say, "I'm not eating
A
lasagna
dinner meeting
anymore."
with food there?
You now have dinner with lasagna because you said, "I'm
Yeah,
never eating that again." Like, it never
literally.
feels it's crazy, but it sounds stupid, but it's true.
It's so
So
true.
then you're like, "Oh, shoot, I said I was gonna start over today." You have the pressure. That's a food you said you weren't gonna eat again.
Yep,
Now you're gonna feel shame, like, people are gonna be like, "What? You're not eating the lasagna?" You're gonna feel like, "Oh my god, I have to eat the lasagna." Then you're gonna feel like, "Oh my god, I can't stick to this It's all of that that's in there. So the
it's a
plan
spiral.
is wrong, usually, and we'll get into that, I'm sure. The plan
Yeah,
that you've set up for yourself is it's not gonna work, period. So the plan is wrong in the first place, but it's also not even about the plan. It's about the pressure, the guilt, everything that you have attached to it, the meaning behind it, and your worth behind it. That's the part that we're sticking that we struggle with in sticking to a plan,
yeah, you mentioned
which
that
is
shame and that
heavy.
pressure. It's
Yeah,
so heavy. I say this all the time that the feelings that we deal with day in and day out, the feelings that bring people to therapy, it's not sadness, it's not anxiety. I mean, they think it is, and that's a generalization, right? Obviously, but
sure.
there's something underneath it. There's
Yeah.
shame. There's pressure. There's this expectation. There's all of these things that are tied to it. Those are the things that are making the sadness feel heavy. I'm never going to get out of this. It's
Mhm.
never ending or why am I this way? There's shame, right? So talk a
Mhm.
little bit about like what's the most common shame you experience or you see in the women that you work with?
I think the most common would be that they just can't that I'm always gonna be this way, that I just can't stick to
Oh,
it. What we just talked about is just
yeah.
when a lot of the women that come to me are like, "I have tried everything. And they come to me from the podcast hearing me talk about it can be simple. It can be something you enjoy. It can be, right? All of these, I'm unfucking it for them, literally, the name of
Yeah.
the podcast. Like, I want them to know that, like, you've tried all of those things, and it's not that that diet is not great. It's not that, that you suck. It's that you are feeling just so lost in that moment of I've tried every single thing. And for me to just be able to say, it's okay. We're not even going to try a thing anymore. We're just going to figure out what you want, how you feel, what are your emotions around it, and what do you actually need.
Mhm.
That starts to get them out of that cycle pretty quickly, but it has to not reflect your worth either. I mean, a lot of women come to me saying, I just feel worthless. I feel like I can't do this. I feel like I'm always going to be stuck. I feel like I'm always being judged, either that I am doing a workout program, I'm feeling judged for that, or that I'm not doing
Mhm.
a workout program going to the gym, I'm
I
feeling
feel like they
judged for
can't
that.
win.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
just feeling like I'm just so much shame, so much pressure, and they're just stuck in a lot of different ways.
Just hearing you say, and I know, obviously, I know this from my own journey, my own conversations with you, but hearing you say, like, it doesn't have, like, it can be simple. We don't have to try a thing. Like, I think that concept
Yeah.
for people, like, I imagine some of my clients and people that I know in my personal life hearing that and being like, well, what do you mean?
What do I
Like,
do then?
what's going to
Yeah,
happen if I don't try a thing? So
yeah,
elaborate on that. Like, how do you approach that for people who are so stuck in this spiral of try a new program, try a new diet, try a new whatever, try a new
yeah.
thing over and over and over again. What does that look like when you actually step out of it?
I think the trying a thing, and I didn't mean like a label, right? We have diets and you have
Yeah.
Weight Watchers and you have Beachbody and you have a ton of things that I could name that people have tried for. I posted on my story yesterday. I have a client, she just joined Fit Club and I think she's in her 60s. She had done Weight Watchers for 49 years. And so
Holy
isn't that
shit.
insane? And she's
And she's like
smaller and she's,
60?
yes,
My
yes.
God.
So it's such a good reminder of
Majority
people
of
just
her
being,
life.
isn't that crazy? And she has goals she's small. She wants to, of course, she's small. She's been doing Weight Watchers for how long under
Right.
eating, right? Because Weight Watchers never tells you to hit your protein or build muscle or take up space. I digress. But she's just small and she wants to now build muscle. She wants to lose some fat and build muscle. She's like a buck
Cool.
20. Okay. She's like really small, under
Yeah.
eating. And I now get to
Mhm.
tell her how to eat more and teach her how to eat more. And she already is. I put it on my story. She's
Mm.
like, I'm eating food, like I'm eating bread and I'm eating,
Yeah.
carbs. And like, it's so great. And she has energy, shockingly. But
Right.
anyway, so those are the types of things that I mean is just like, you don't have to do a Weight Watchers. You don't have to do the things that you see online. And I know that that is very, very common because we're all online and we're all seeing, I have a program, right? Like I sell a program.
Right.
So everybody has something that you should follow. But what I mean by that is you don't have to be low carb. You don't have to like title a name to it. We just have
Mhm.
to find a plan that works for you. You need to weight lift a few times
Mhm.
a week. You need to hit your steps, consistently, a step goal, and you need to figure out how much food you need to be eating for your body. And you can figure
Mhm.
out what days of the week you want to work out. You can figure out what time of day you want to work out. Like it doesn't have to be so rigid. It gets to be that simple. And I know that's so
The
alarming.
rigidity,
Yes, but that's the
right?
only way that it really makes sense is if you're always fighting against your body and trying to stick to a
Yes.
plan that you cannot stick to, we have
Right.
got to stop trying to stick to that plan. The plan is the problem.
Totally.
So figuring out what works for you, for your life. So it takes a little while for my clients to be like, oh, actually is kind of simple when I do it for
Right.
me and not to beat myself up, not to punish myself.
Yeah.
So
I love
interesting,
that
right?
when I do it
Yeah.
for me. Like, that's
Yeah.
so freeing. And I wonder, like, what from your experience, because I know this from the mental health side of, like, working with people through their mental health struggles and when they finally get to that other side. What do you see from a mental health perspective when your clients get it? Like, it clicks and they're
Oh,
like that moment with her, like, what do you notice in their mental health, their confidence? What changes?
everything. I swear so
Yeah.
quickly, and that's why I'm always like having a healthy body and, like, a mindset around food, like, all of this kind of stuff. When I say, like, fitness changed my life, like, that's what I mean is the freedom
Yeah.
of it. But when they realize that they don't have to be tied to something, they can have food freedom, they can go out and enjoy food with their friends, they can skip a day of working out, and it doesn't make them a bad person or, piece of shit because they didn't stick
Right.
to the plan. It's like it gives them confidence in themselves. It gives them freedom like that. I mean, their whole I just see like a completely different human. And I can hear it in the messages of just like, oh my gosh, Kristy, you would never believe I went out to eat with my friends last night. I had pizza. It's still usually tied to the scale, which is
Yeah.
fine. But it's like, and I didn't gain any weight. And I'm like, yes, but that's
Yeah.
awesome because they realize they can do that now. And everything they've thought was a total lie. And it just starts to
Yes.
create that confidence in themselves. It's the best feeling. I love that so
Oh,
much.
it's so cool. It's so cool. It's so empowering and so like such an honor truly. And I know you
Yeah.
feel this way too, to be on this side of it and like sit
Yeah.
across from somebody and say, I promise you it can be so much better, right? I can't promise you when, I can't promise the exact outcome, but it can be so much better. And a
Yeah.
lot of times it is stepping out of that rigidity, whether it's in fitness and nutrition, mental health, whatever it is. And so I think reflecting on that is huge. And I love that example of like people messaging you, oh my God, I ate pizza. Because how often is it people get a personal
Yeah.
trainer or a coach or something and they're sending messages like, oh my God, I lost 5 pounds.
Yes.
And then that's being reinforced. It's all that conditioning of like, oh, good job, you lost 5 pounds
Mhm.
versus, oh my God,
I had
I'm living my
pizza.
life.
Yes, I had
Yeah,
fun.
it's
I
so
got to go
cool.
out and yeah, it's the complete opposite of what people even say, like, "I never thought I would have a coach that I could say, 'I ate pizza.'" You know?
Right.
Like, it's so great. No, it's the best, and I know it's the best because I was there. Like, I was so
Right.
rigid eating out of my containers and, like,
Uh huh.
realizing this is not sustainable, so I need to figure out a different way, and so I know I
Yeah.
remember all of those stepping stones in my own journey being like, "Oh my god, I can do this and still get
Yes.
this result and still love myself and still, you know, let go of that shame." Like, I know that that's just the best thing, but yeah,
Totally.
less
Another
rules.
thing that really comes up with shame that I want to talk about, and I think it's a good segue from this food freedom, is going into like a lot of people struggle with maybe emotional eating, binge eating, dopamine seeking eating, right? And like
Mhm.
that whole kind of slippery slope. So, talk to me about how that shows up in your work with clients, especially from like the mindset side of it. And like, what is the most common pattern that you see, the emotions that come with it? What are people really dealing with when it comes to those eating patterns?
Yeah, eating patterns are I mean, at first, it
Yeah.
requires a lot of digging into it. Again, it's gonna be that emotional piece of it, right? Whether you're knowingly doing that at the end of the day or not. Some people are just kind of eating their feelings or eating their stress, no, and not really thinking about it. Others are like, "I'm so stressed, I need to go grab a container of ice cream," right? That's kind of
Right.
the thing to say. What I usually notice when it comes down to it is it's really just not eating all day and then starving at night when you're
Yes.
tired, when you have a lack of judgment, when you're who knows, right? I mean, as a mom, I feel every emotion between like 8 and 10 PM. It's
Yeah,
like
right.
literally. So, yeah,
So true.
honestly, I won't even list them. If you know, you know. But, and it's the same on the weekend, right? It's like, I'm gonna eat clean. I'm gonna start Monday, and I'm gonna eat clean Monday through Friday, and then I can have some fun on the weekends. So it's like we're
Mhm.
either building it all up and starving ourselves all day, and then we go a little crazy at night, or maybe we do have a successful week Monday through Friday or Monday through Thursday, and then it's a free
Mhm.
for all Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's usually not even about being out of control necessarily. It's just kind of it's more of a rebound, I guess, from being so rigid for so long
Yeah.
where your body just wants some relief. Your brain wants some relief at the end of the
Yeah,
day
your
on the weekend.
brain
That's
for
kind of,
sure. Yes.
yeah, when you think about it, it's like at the end of the night, I just want to sit down with a bowl of something and eat some TV or eat some TV, watch
You
some
want
TV.
some
Or
eating TV.
at that point, honestly, or
For
like
real.
at the weekend, like, I just wanna go have fun with my friends. I just wanna be able to go eat. I just wanna go drink. I just wanna be able to go, right? It's just like your brain
You want something satisfying.
yeah,
Like you're
you need
craving that like
something totally.
yeah.
And I think it's just if you're trying to always fight that feeling, it's not gonna work. And then it
Right.
becomes emotional because then you quit, then the negative self-talk comes in, and then it's shame, and then that spiral happens. But
Yes.
emotional eating, definitely, I mean, there's the definite dopamine, there's the definite fix that I think we've, attached to it 100%, and that's totally valid. But when you break it down, there's usually things we can replace that with to get dopamine. When my ladies start to track their macros, they understand that they can have things, right? I talk about Cadbury eggs all the time or Oreos. You
Yeah.
can have things, you just kind of have to fit them in and do it a little more purposely, which helps you with your emotional side and the physical side of the eating. So I think looking at it a little more logically helps as well.
Yeah, yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. And it makes me wonder how often, I wonder if when people get to you, you might not see this as much because I think your brand is so like people come to you, I think, when they're ready
Yeah.
and maybe not fully ready, but they see that they're going to be in good hands and they're
Mhm.
with somebody who's not going to keep them rigid. So I don't know, maybe you don't see this as much in your clients, but I wonder at what point like does self-sabotage come in with some of these eating habits of like because of what we started with, like it's so daunting, I'm never going to change, it's always going to be this way.
Yeah.
And then that slippery slope into like, well, if it's always going to be this way, then fine, fuck it, you know?
Yeah, I get that, not as like you said, not as much as I'm sure other people do because you're right.
Sure.
And I don't okay, let me first answer the question. I don't beat people up about it. So they do know that they're going
Yep.
to have freedom and they do know that I'm going to say it's okay that that happened. Tomorrow's a new day or it's okay that you went out and, ate a little too much, binge eat people call it, not in the it depends on the situation, but they're just like I ate an entire bag of chips and oh, pour me, pour me. And I'm like, "Well, just log it or make a note of it and move on. Like it's not a big deal. We're not going to beat ourselves up. I'm your coach and I'm saying it's totally fine. It's carbs, it's water weight. You can use it for your workout tomorrow, whatever I need to say per person to kind of
Right.
get them to understand that it's okay and lessen that, self shame. But
Yeah.
self sabotage shows up mostly in my clients in terms of what if I do this and I see the results and I end up succeeding? It's most of the
Mhm.
time a succession worry rather
Mhm.
than I can't do this type of a thing. They know it's going to be
Okay.
difficult, but they know I'm going to be walking along with them. They know they have a great community. Like they know it's different. Like I'm always like, it's simple. It's okay. We're going to figure out what works for you. And yeah, there's going to be shit in the meantime. But I don't see it so much. I mean, it's definitely protection, right? Self sabotage is always protection. Whether, what if I try this and I fail again? But they kinda know I'm gonna catch them, and they kind of expect that, and they get it, so it's more of like, "Okay, well, what happens when I do this correctly? What am I gonna look like? What am I gonna feel like?" And that part kind of
Yeah.
scares them a little bit, and they just wanna stay. I mean, that's our brain and our body's job is to keep us safe and you know,
Yeah.
to keep us happy, so it's natural, we kinda just need to look at that and fight that too.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's such an interesting point that the success is what's so scary for people, right? And I mean, obviously in my field this makes so much sense to me. Do people recognize that for you like or is it something when you point out
No.
they say like, yeah, it's they're kind of blind to it, right? Like they
Yeah,
might think like
completely.
why would I be afraid of success? That's why I signed up for this in the first place, right? So that's
Yeah.
such an interesting piece that I see all the time with clients even
Yeah.
too of like I'm afraid of the success and whether it's like, what if I can't sustain it? What if I don't like who I am? What if I lose the people around me? Like, there's so
Mhm.
much fear of what's the outcome going to be if
Yeah.
I actually accomplish this, especially if I've been trying to accomplish this my whole life. There's kind of this like, I don't know, it makes it this big scary thing at the end, which is so
Yeah.
interesting because it's the thing that we want, right?
Yes. Yeah, it's a very interesting progression with people, and I struggle with this too. My self-sabotage mechanism is to hold myself back as well. I get very scared of
Yeah.
what I'm capable of in
Yeah.
different ways, and it's like,
Totally.
that's kind of scary. So I can relate to that 100%. Now, mind you, I'm scared of failing too. So that's fun for me. But when I see so I have women come to me, right, thinking like they don't necessarily think I can't do this. When women come to me and after they listen to the podcast, I think they're like, okay, I can give
Yeah.
this a
They
good shot,
feel,
right?
yeah. Right.
Yeah, and that's totally the goal. That's not I don't do that on purpose. That's just kind of the vibe I give off of is like, we'll figure it out. Come on, girl.
Absolutely.
We'll just do
Yes.
it. But so when they come to me, they're like, "Okay, you tell me what to do. I'm kinda nervous, but I'll do it." They start to see wins pretty quickly, and then they're like,
Mhm.
"Oh, I am growing muscle. I am eating carbs. Shoot, this is working. What if I actually do get my dream body? What if I actually do build muscle and I don't care about the scale anymore? What if I
Mhm.
wanna tell my family I don't care what they think?" They start to, like, become
Mhm.
confident like that, which I love, but it does come with its own, like, "Oh, no, now my parents are judging me because of this, and now my friends don't want me to go out with them because I eat a salad," or,
It's an
it's
identity thing.
absolutely, and it's hard. I mean, that is not easy by any means.
Totally.
It's not an easy like, "Oh, I'm scared of success." That seems like that must be terrible. It sounds kind of like, okay, a good problem to have, but it
Right.
definitely comes with its own troubles, and where it's
Mhm.
like, "I don't wanna do this anymore. I just wanna fit in, and I wanna be comfortable." That's where I see kind of people backing
Mhm.
off and feeling like, I don't know if I wanna do this." It's more about the comfort of others at
Yes,
that
the
point.
comfort zone. This is
Yeah.
what we know. This is who I
Yeah.
know myself to be. And especially if I'm not saying anything is negative about that person as they are, but if they've learned, if they've internalized the way that I am right now is not that great in their mind, they're
Mhm.
thinking this. but I have to figure out a way to be okay with it. Then their identity forms around that. And it's like, okay, how am I supposed to let that go? I work so hard to like accept myself for who I am, even if they're not truly accepting themselves. There's like
True.
protective factors, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've seen it all the time. Like people will be like, well, I'm just the funny fat friend,
Mhm.
right? Like, so that's something that they've developed to protect themselves. But then if they change their body and increase their confidence, it's like, well, then who I am,
Who am
am I
I?
in relation to others now?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. Who am
what
I?
if people don't accept me? What if, yeah,
Yeah.
everything changes.
Yeah, like you said, you can the loss of family, the loss of friends, the loss of the life that you have currently, but you're exchanging that for one that you actually want, which is amazing. And yeah, it
Yeah.
does have a learning curve. And yeah, it's going to feel awkward at times, but it already does now because if you're the person convincing yourself, I'm okay with this being this identity, well, then you can convince yourself that you're okay in another identity as well, which is why community is so important. I feel like I love
Hmm.
that piece of it because, everybody
Totally.
in this journey is gonna you're gonna go through the same things with different people, different, situations, but you're gonna go through the same transformation. But yeah, at the end of the day, it's all that emotional, it's all
Yeah.
from, within and other people. Like it all comes back to that emotional piece of it, which is, why we've married these two topics together.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and I think too, people don't realize like they're afraid of what they might evolve into. And I say all the time that like there's this version of you, this core version of you that is the most authentic version of you that you haven't been able to have access to because of all these protective things.
Yeah.
And that core version of you is so vulnerable. Like it's great, but it's so vulnerable. And so for people who have never had access to that, if
Oh
getting to your
yeah.
most confident version of yourself, if getting into a body that actually feel like your body, like, kind of getting rid of that body dysmorphia stuff, like that
Mhm.
can feel really vulnerable. But it is like we're saying, when people get to that or tap into it even just a little bit, it's so empowering and so freeing. It's really
Yeah,
cool.
it is, but it is absolutely a process. It is absolutely hard.
Yeah.
It is really
Yeah.
hard to be, to become that person. Like, I'm not saying at all that it's just, oh, they just quickly become so confident. It's more of like
No.
a
Right.
I put on these shorts and, like, I really like them. I remember going through
Yeah.
that in my own journey of, I'm never gonna squat at a squat rack, like, that's for boys.
Yeah.
Boys have
That's
muscles
for boys.
and boys use squat racks. I remember
Yeah.
my husband brought it home and I specifically was like, "I'm never doing that."
Why did you buy
First
that?
time doing that. I remember having little short shorts, and I'm like, I would never like my legs enough to put those shorts on to be confident in them.
Mhm.
Obsessed with them. Like, you just go through things, you're like, "Who is this person?" I never thought I would be that person. I never even set out to do that. I never even wanted to
Yeah.
squat or wear those shorts. It was just like, you never know what you are capable of truly until you just
So
become
true.
that person. But yeah, it's not easy.
I love
Definitely
it.
not easy. Takes time.
Yeah. We've talked mostly about like the nutrition aspect of it. So I want to shift a little bit into like exercise because I know a lot of people have complicated relationships with
Mhm.
exercise too. It's viewed as a form of punishment for a lot of people, right? Like I ate this shitty food and now I got to exercise to punish myself for it. I know for a lot of like former athletes like myself, I've shared with you before that like my relationship with exercise post college athlete life was
Mhm.
very complicated because it was like, what am I doing this for? Why? Like, what
Yeah.
is the end goal? And also exercise for a lot of people, it's not fun. Why
Right.
would I do this if it feels like shit? So I want to talk a little bit about like how people can heal their relationship with exercise. Like, what do you see in your clients? How do you get people to a place where they can truly love working out? Maybe not want to every day, but genuinely love it. Because I think that is a piece that is missing in the sustainability of everything.
Yeah, totally. I think it comes down to having exercise be something that supports you instead of the punishment part of it. We have to look at it as, and I mean, that is there's going to be a different answer for a different person, right? You coming out
Hmm.
of, being a college athlete, you exercised or trained for a specific reason and a specific outcome. Somebody else
Hmm.
may just be running miles and miles, miles on the treadmill
Right.
to burn off the food that they ate. So it's completely different,
Hmm.
when we're looking at what does a person need. So there's not a one size fits all answer, which thank God.
Hmm.
But I think that's what a lot of people are looking for. At the end of the day, it needs to be something that supports you. I have an episode on this, but when I learned to look at exercise as something that makes me healthy, strong, and shapes my body, and food as something that nourishes my body, and it can be, for fat loss, however you want to look at more like the scale, the health part of it. But when
Mhm.
exercise is merely to give you mental freedom and, when you go for a walk, you feel good, that's exercise. But it's also to shape your body. Like it has they have completely different purposes. And if you can look at it as something that maybe it's a stress relief, maybe you just want some confidence, maybe you want energy, maybe you just want to take care of your body, but it should never be a punishment. And that's why when we're like, oh, I have to go to the gym today and burn 500 calories. That's
Right.
not that's not fun, and no one's gonna do something that's obsessive for
Right.
the rest of their life.
Right. Yeah, I think that's so huge, and I think that finding whatever that is, like people say all the time, like, "Well, I love walking," but that's not gonna do it, and you see all these accounts on social media that are good accounts, and have you seen where they, like, rank forms of exercise from, like,
Yeah,
best to worst for fat loss, and
yes,
walking, lifting weights is always up at the
number
top, and I
yep.
think that mindset for people, like, "Well, I'm not gonna lose weight if I'm just walking."
I used to
Like,
think
what do
that.
you mean? Right, same, right, exactly,
Yeah,
like, "Oh, I'm just gonna go for a little
for a
stroll."
walk.
Yeah,
No, I
what?
thought because coming off of Body Now, I
Yeah.
thought I had to be sweating, I thought I had to be, like, 7 days a week, hands on my knees, can't
Yes.
breathe, like and I didn't even like how my body was looking then or how I felt, so that's insane.
Mhm.
Well, insanity was the program, so maybe that was the point. But anyway,
Yeah.
literally no, I would be like, "You're gonna go for a walk?" Like that I'm over here just sweating my ass off, like, I thought I was so much better than everybody that, like, was
Yeah,
just
right.
walking, and now I'm like, "I'm just going for a walk." Like, I'm the complete
Yeah.
opposite now, like, "Just gonna hit my steps." I'm that
Yeah.
person walking around the mall, but it's true, when you actually and I think the knowledge part of that is what's helpful. Now, mind you, when
Yes.
I was saying that kind of stuff, I don't even know if I was a Beachbody coach then. I was just a Joe Schmo doing workouts, okay? I had no idea what I was talking about. But once you know, and that's kind of why, you have to have the knowledge and you have to have that mindset piece of it too. But once you know how your body works and functions and that you need a certain amount of food and relationship with exercise just needs to be movement of whatever
Mhm.
kind you love and you can make it work, it starts to become like, okay, I can do this. It's not that big of a deal. And I can enjoy it and I can do it
Yeah.
forever. And I can change my mind. Like I said earlier, when I'm doing something, I remember doing Country Heat from Beachbody and I'm like, I'm not
Oh
line
my god, I
dancing.
remember that one.
I'm not doing that. I don't even like
I
country
could
music.
not
Like,
picture you doing
no,
that.
can
Like, I
you
know you love
imagine?
to dance. I know
What?
you love to dance, but I could not picture you doing
No.
that.
But I was a Beachbody coach at the time, so, like, I
Right.
had to put out a video of me doing it. It was in that moment that
Oh
I thought,
my god.
"Absolutely not, I didn't make it through one video, obviously," and I'm like, "I'm not doing this, is so
Yeah.
stupid." But somebody else probably loved it. I hated it, so I'm like, "I'm not
Yeah.
doing this. I'll
Yeah.
go for a walk and go lift some weights." Like, I'm not for me. So you have that capability to say, "This is not for me. I'll go find something that
Totally.
is." There are so many ways to move your body. None of them are
Yes.
wrong, really, period. None
Right.
of them are wrong. You can move in a way that makes you happy and
Yeah.
it'll all come together. And I think just starting too is helpful when people are just like, well, how am I going to work out then if I'm not running and
Yes.
tracking my calories? You just have to start and make it about something that supports you rather than punishes you. And I think that mindset
Right.
makes a big difference.
What's your advice for someone, and I actually love that you work with women of all ages at all stages of life. What is your advice for someone who maybe is in a later stage of life who has never had a good relationship with fitness or exercise?
Well, if they're coming to me, they're usually doing my Fit Club workouts.
Yep.
So that's great. But in the same point, I think it's just figuring out what they like to do. I mean, I would ask, and I get that question in my DMs all the time. Like, I don't know where to start. As for example, the lady who's done just Weight Watchers, forever. I don't
Mhm.
know what she's been doing. I will usually ask, do you like to run? Do you like yoga? Do you like spinning? Do you like to go to the gym? What do you think you would even do? You like pickleball? What do
Yeah, what
you
you're
think you
curious
would
about.
like to
Yeah.
do? Yeah. And then I just say to go do those things. I think what's really cool is even a fitness class, I don't think that fitness classes are best for what I always talk about body recomp, but that's a different situation than what we're talking about
Yeah.
now, is just getting started. So when I say there's no bad workout, if you start going to classes and you love it, you start spin classes, you love it, you start Pilates, you love it, you might a few months down the road realize, okay, this isn't changing my body in the way that I want it to.
Mhm.
But I now know that I can be consistent with something. I now know that I enjoy being
Yeah.
around other people. I now know that I can say, I'm going to do this workout today and I will do it. So you have that confidence and then you can pivot into what will actually change your body. So I think just starting with anything will give you the confidence to continue to keep going.
Mhm. Yeah, I think that that's great advice because people are always hearing like you have to do XYZ thing, like there's rules. And so that makes it really hard.
Yeah.
And I know one of the things we've talked about before is one of the barriers for people, like maybe people are like, I would love to lift weights. I would love to go to the gym. I would love to go to a fitness class, but I'm overweight. And if I go here, people are going to judge me. Right. And so like
Yeah.
that shame kind of kicks back in. So what's your thoughts on how people can challenge that for themselves?
Yeah, I think that that's where where fitness has become so much more mental and emotional. I don't know if it's always like
Hmm.
that. I feel like I remember I remember exercising with my grandma, and we would go to this like ladies class, and they were old ladies. Okay. We were doing like cardio drumming and like aerobics and stuff.
Wait,
It
I
was
love
always the
this.
most, and I was little. I was a little kid, but I remember
Oh
just
my
going with her
gosh.
because she was babysitting me.
Yeah.
So I freaking went with her. But everybody was so welcoming. There was no negative
Yeah.
talk, like, everybody was just so kind. There was all kinds of people there, no men, but there was just women all of all ages, and my grandma and her
Mhm.
friends were old as shit, and no one said one single thing about
Mhm.
them. No one cared, and,
Mhm.
of course, I'm little, so I don't think they cared, but it was genuinely the most happy place. Now, I think gyms are still like that for the most part, I think fitness
Mhm.
classes are still mostly like that. I think that I actually heard today on a podcast, this girl was total sidebar, so it wasn't even about fitness. They were talking about dating, but she was like, I will not date a man with a fitness, like a gym pick for his bio, because I feel
Yeah.
like eventually this man will pick on my body and he'll be very obsessed with fitness and things like that, which I understand, but that wasn't my first thought. My first thought was, no, he probably wouldn't, because most
Right.
people that are in the gym are very supportive. They're there to work on
Yeah.
their bodies. They definitely started overweight, unhappy with their bodies, not feeling good in their skin. No one goes to the gym for the first year knowing what
No
they're
one walks
doing.
into the gym with a six pack, like,
No,
that's
no
not
one knows their way around. No one knows where any machines are. They don't know what they're
Right.
doing. No one knows. And we've all been there. So I feel there are people at the gym, trust me, that are assholes, I'm sure.
Of course,
But
yeah.
even when I go to the gym, I'm like, "Is everybody looking at me?" They're literally not. It's so
Mhm.
you in your head again about the
Yes.
shame, the guilt, what are people gonna think of me? But it's really not like that. Like, it is truly if you can just kind of get out of your head, and I know that's the hardest thing to do, but I'm just telling you, I've coached hundreds, if not thousands of people. They
Yeah.
do not care. They will be very, very helpful, and I've had clients that are so scared to go to the gym. I'm like, "Just go. Just have me in your ear. You have my app. You have me on your,
Yeah.
phone. You don't have to even talk to anybody. It'll be fine." And if they need something, I usually it's my clients will say it's the biggest, scariest man in the room that is the sweetest. Like I can ask him
Always.
anything and help me. So I feel like
Yeah.
just, that part of it, people in this space are very, very kind and very friendly
I
and they
think
want to
it's
help you. They've been
that
there.
piece
Yeah.
100%, and it is that piece of, like, getting out of your own head, right?
Yes.
It's that projection, and this is I put an episode out of a couple months ago, I think, about, like, what you need to check yourself before you judge somebody else, right? Like,
Mhm.
because whatever you're judging in somebody else is what you're judging in yourself, and it's kind of the reverse of that here of, like, if you go to the gym and you're assuming someone's judging you, what are you judging in yourself, right? So, like, kind of turning that inward. So I love that advice, and I think that again, it's a mindset tweak that makes all the difference
Yeah.
when you're starting out and it's something new. And of course, it's scary if it's something you've never done before, a new place. Or I even think about like when you get comfortable in your own gym and then you go on vacation, you have to go to a new gym and you're like,
Yes.
I don't know where anything is. Like people are going to think I don't, this is my first day ever. Like it's just so anxiety provoking. So it's not
Yeah.
just you, it's such a common
No, I
experience. And
feel the same way.
yeah,
When I go on vacation, I work out in my home gym, and when I have to go to a gym, I'm like, I look like an idiot. I walk around here like
right,
I've never seen these machines in my entire life, as if I've never lifted a dumbbell. People probably
right.
think but that's how I feel like I look, and so I'm assuming
Yeah,
that everybody else feels that way too. But I will
yeah,
just also give you a little peace of mind. When I do go to the gym, most of the people in there have no idea what they're doing.
yes,
Truly.
yeah.
Their form is wrong. They're not doing the correct it's all bad. Even if those people are judging you, they shouldn't be. I
They
just
shouldn't
that's
be.
as soon as I look around, I'm like, yeah, none of you can judge me right now because none of you are doing any of
Exactly.
this
You have no room
correctly.
to talk.
So even if you're listening to this and you don't know if their form is correct, just assume it's not and go in there and just do your best because they're all doing it wrong.
Yeah,
Okay. Just don't
exactly. It's
keep your
not just
AirPods
you.
in. You're not open to other people's advice, but they're probably
Absolutely.
doing it wrong.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, I think that there's so many things that we've talked about today that are so helpful and so validating. And I think that's one of the things, like, people feel so alone in any journey that they go on because it is such a personal journey. And so if you could, like, one sentence to kind of like grab somebody's attention and get them to recognize whether it's a mental health journey, fitness journey, spiritual journey, whatever, like, what would you say to somebody at a starting point?
I think I would just say that, whatever you're feeling right now, you're not broken. You're just a little overwhelmed. You're not failing nearly as much as you think you are. You're putting in the time, with something, whether it's maybe being too hard on yourself. We just need to replace that habit with something more kind and just find someone in your corner. We all have, I think, a uniting bond that I see a lot of times in my app is we all have shame and we all have guilt
Ugh.
and we all feel the same way. When someone will share a struggle or I'm new here and this is how I'm feeling and this is what I work on, everyone's like, oh my gosh, me too, me too, me too. And I think it's just so nice to feel like you're not broken and you're not alone, and just find something, anything that you enjoy to make yourself happy. After all, this is about you mentally and physically.
Absolutely. I love that. And
Yeah.
I love you. I'm so glad you came on.
Thank you. This was so good. I love these
This was
topics.
so fun. I
Yeah.
love this topic. I could talk to you about it for hours, as you know. Everybody, if you have not yet, please go listen to Unfuck Your Fitness with Kristy. It's an amazing podcast. It's honestly what I listened to her podcast as a fan first, and then we just nerded out in her DMs for a while before we actually connected. It's truly such a phenomenal podcast for so many reasons. You will get so much out of it. Not only knowledge and education about fitness and nutrition, but you will feel seen, you will feel heard, you'll feel validated, and you'll feel like you have a new best friend. So go listen to it. And I don't, are you taking on one-on-one clients right now, or you just
I'm
have your
not
fit
taking
club
on
open?
one-on-ones. Fit club's
Okay,
open.
so
Yep.
join Kristy's Fit Club. I was in it for a really long time and gained so much from it. It's awesome. And
Great.
Kristy, tell people where they can reach you.
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram at Kristy Castillo Fit and also at Unfuck Your Fitness Podcast. And please feel free to send me a DM or a message on Spotify. I answer all of them myself. God bless. So I love chatting
Yeah,
with you guys.
yeah.
Yeah.
Kristy and her DMs is
God bless. I love it. I love talking to people. Like I can't not do it. So
it's
I'll
awesome. It's
respond.
so cool. All right,
Thank you
guys.
for
So
having
thank
me.
you so much. Yeah, of course. Thanks for coming on. I'm sure I'll have you on again. We'll have to
Yeah,
do
I
this
hope
again
so.
sometime.
Okay, cool.
All right, guys. I'll see you next time with another new episode. Bye. Thanks so much for tuning in to another episode of the Healing Unfiltered podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share this with someone who might also love to tune in. And as always, be kind to yourself, others, and the world. See you next time.